Hello. Hello everyone. It's time for a virtual reality fishing. Oh look, all my settings saved this time. Normally I have to like set up, this whole calibration thing, gotta set up my this camera thing. Load up Twitch chat, choose the right window. This time it just did it by itself. It hasn't happened in a long time. Yes, we are back. Welcome Lofkey, Duck, Amplo, and Denchi. The squad is all here. Yes, it is post-game content. Last stream, we caught that fish right there. Maybe it's a different fish. We caught a huge fish last time. That was the end game fish. People who missed it, I spent 17 minutes reeling in, doing a monologue because I can't read chat during it. And then I caught the fish, and he gave me this. I caught the fish, how's it right there? Well, maybe if you refer to the VOD from last time, okay? The fish was too big to fit in here. I tried folding it in half, and then it clipped through and it fell off, okay? It was released. It was released back into the lake. And that's why it's out there. Yeah, L plus ratio plus it fell off. Have I caught that secret enderfish? No. I did release the fish. But yeah, that's the last fish. My to-do is all done. Hello, Nutritious, welcome. Let's see, what does this say? It wasn't even worth noting. This tells you how much fish you caught. You think he would have written like, oh yeah, look, I caught the big fish. Which of these have I not caught? I haven't caught a lake dole. Because, sorry, a cave dole. Because I don't want to go in the cave. I haven't caught a cravey. I haven't caught an anasox. These are probably all like in the cave or like somewhere else. I don't feel like doing that. There's a registoma. I don't know. Oh, it loves bright lights. Actually, there's a lot of fish I haven't caught. I caught the big fish. I didn't catch like any of these. So there's still content to be done. There's this like super mysterious fish whose information we don't even know. There's this one. There's an article. A dude steals a book. That's probably me. I stole the book. There's some. Wait, oh frick! You guys see this? You seeing this? What is that? What is this? It's a frickin' bear. Hold on, I got a spam bot. Get out of here, Steam VR. My followers? First time chatter, you are banned. Live banning in VR. Wait, a kite? Wait, hold on. Oh yeah, there is a kite actually. I think it's in that tree actually. Yeah, that kite. If I used to fish over there sometimes, and there's a kite in that tree. So as you can tell, things in this book are real. They're real. Hello, Abyss Hunted. I had a dream this game had a rip-off clone called Release and Catch. Who would do that? I consider that might have been the first Twitch ban in VR. No, I've banned people in VR before. I've definitely done it. So that's what I do. I just press this button on my controller right here. This button. It opens up this menu, and then I just interact with the stuff. But yeah, it was cool. So despite this being post-game content, there's a lot of content that I actually have not done. There's all those fish I didn't catch. But yeah, the bear is real, by the way. I didn't talk about this last time, but I did talk about this actually, but not on a fishing stream. The Catch and Release official Twitter, they have a tweet from 2019, and they posted this. They have they have a picture of a bear, obviously from this game, because they have the logo right here. They say, "Wow, he is impressive, but do not worry if he turns up. You are at a safe distance, and he is usually very mild-mannered. But it is certainly a good idea not to annoy him." See this part that says, "You are at a safe distance," right? That explains why you guys never see the bear. It's always like super far away. Like every time I see it, it's like all the way over there. I just got a notification from... What is that sound? I don't know. But, yeah, you're at a safe distance, so they probably spawn the bear far away so that, you know, you don't get surprised. Some people might have a fear of bears. And so that explains a lot. Yeah, I'm pulling up the bear picture. So hello to Olo. The bear doesn't live on the lake. Look, there's overwhelming evidence. We went in the cave, there's the bear portraits made by the ancients. They have the official blog post, I mean the Twitter post. There's a picture of the bear in the missions book. What else? What else? There's so much. And you guys are just like, "Oh no, it's too small, I can't see the bear." It's real. Yeah, if you yeah. The bear is behind the truck. If you can catch Mew, sorry, you use strength on the truck. So you go into the SS Anne, and in Pokemon, you get strength or whatever. You get knocked out by the people in the ship. Then you respawn in the Pokemon Center, and then you come back. You can surf on the water, and then use strength on the truck. If you push the truck, then Mew will come out. Okay, and then Mew will transform into a bear. So that's what it is. Yeah, the bears are real. Extremely real. There's proof. There's proof everywhere. If you look closer, you'll see it. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. What am I even going to do today? We can do fishing. It is a fishing stream. Also, there's like this new thing. What is that? Do you guys see this? Is that like a moderator thing? Hold on. There's this new thing. Chat highlight settings. Chat highlights. Select which highlights you see in chat and how they show up. Highlights will not be visible to viewers. Default or minimize first time chat. Personalized recognition. You can mark suspicious users. Sus users. You can have mentions. You can have moderator messages. You can highlight VIP messages, subscriber messages. I see. I think Twitch also, they finally added like pinned messages. I opened the Twitch app the other day, and I think I saw someone pinned a message. Let me see if I can do it. Is it possible? What is this? Click to reply. I click the message. How do I don't know how to do it. Yeah, they finally added it. I don't know how to set it. Actually, let me go to my computer. Can I do like /pin? Oops, sorry, that's my chair. I'm gonna check. Can I pin a message? /pin. Nope. Maybe it's an A/B test? Yeah, maybe. Reply? Click to reply? No. No, it's not. About settings? I can go to the chat settings. Pin... No. Oh well, I don't know, whatever. We don't have access to so many things. We don't have access to moments. I've seen some people have access to moments. If I had access to that, I would have enabled it. When we caught the big fish, that would have been a moment. You would have had like a badge next to your name that says you were here for when I caught the big fish. I don't know if you can retroactively do that. Can I like go back and say like, at some point in the past, these people, I saw them in chat, and therefore I can give them the badge. Doesn't even have access to fleets. I doubt it. Dang it. Oh well, I don't know. I'm standing up now. This is my time of the week when I stand up. Anyway, that's cool. That's cool. I went AFK in a chat once and received a moment. I think I got one too. I think like I wasn't actually in chat at the time. I was like looking at I was browsing it and then I left the window or whatever. And then I came back and then I saw I had a badge. It's like, yeah, it feels wrong. It feels like I should not be there. I should not have received the badge. Oh well, that's fine. You get lurkers sometimes. You check like the list of people viewing. You have a bunch of people that are never here. But they're always in the viewers list. Some people say they're bots. I'm not sure. Hold on, I hear some stuff outside. I'm gonna close the door. Yes. Okay, I feel like clicking on them to see how body they look. There's like a bunch of them. Alice Sidra. Actually, how do I check that? There's a list of the viewers list. Isn't it normally it's like visible? Hold on, where is it? This button right here. Users in chat. Although for some reason it doesn't show up in the pop-up chat. Maybe because it's like a mod specific thing. Oh well. I wonder if they participate in raids. Probably don't. I'm gonna call out all the lurkers, yeah. Let's see see the list. I know people who leave the chat pop-up open without leaving the stream open. Just to farm. Wait, you can farm viewer points even when... Oh, I guess you mean when the streamer's actually streaming. The viewer of IRL. I'm gonna look at the viewers list. Who's here? Who's here? Show yourself. Okay, Alexis the Nexus. Alcidra. Anna Banana. Cake Wave 2. I've never seen these people. I know this one's a bot. Commander Root. They're a bot. Elbra Tweets. Look, all these people are just here to lurk, and I'm just calling them out. There's a lot of people that I don't know. I've never seen you guys. Who are these people? Wars of the Trek Gate Star. I'm literally on a lake. I'm not there. Oh yeah, I don't know, maybe people don't actually show up. So I don't think I said hello Zoe. Welcome Zoe3. Yeah, this is IRL. I'm literally on a lake. I'm literally on a lake right now. You might think this is VR. I say it's VR fishing, it's actually real life fishing. I can summon like a chat box in VR. Sorry, in real life. In real life. Yeah, he's a viewer. You can be a viewer and a streamer. Handful. You're also a viewer as well as a streamer. Just like me. Just like me, for real. Oh, we got the plane. There's a plane up there. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know I have the trophy. I caught the big fish. You don't even know. And the proof was there. Oh yeah, the viewers list, yeah. But you can see the fish. Okay, let me I guess I should try fishing. Can't believe all the meme slang for real, for real. It's not meme. It's not a meme. It's funny. It's for real on God. And you can say frog. FR space OG. Frog. And for some reason people abbreviate on God as ONG instead of OG, which doesn't make sense. I don't know. It's kind of how like people say, when they say of course, they say OFC. That doesn't make sense, right? It'd be OC. Why is it OFC? It doesn't make sense. So hello Toaster, welcome. It is a meme everywhere, but it's original circle. I don't know what that means. Because OC was taken, well OG is also taken. I guess, yeah, okay. Like, on God is not OG, because I guess OG already has a meaning. No, it's not what you think it is, Utowo. I never thought it was that, but some people were like, wait, I thought the F stands for the F word. No, it's just it's just of course. Because people use it in ways that are not like meant to be dismissive / rude. Like, I have a friend who says OFC all the time. He's very supportive. He would never use it in a sarcastic manner. I'm pretty sure it's just of course. What is the F word? I don't know. Look it up. Go to Google, search what is F word. It could be anything. There are many F words. Okay, there's let's look up Uto's message. Except replace the asterisks with other letters, and you'll find it. It's like Picross. There's clues here. You can find them. You can find them if you look hard enough. This is our first game. Sorry, our first fish. Our first post-game fish. No, 1.58 kilograms. Here we go. Another thing for the cringe collection. The anti-cringe collection. It goes into our lunchbox. You know what? I'm releasing you. Enjoy your freedom. You're spared. You're the first fish to be caught. You will be released. This is catch and release after all. Gamer changes his method of fish releasing. I don't know. After beating the game. Anyway, it's Wednesday. How are you guys doing? Remember yesterday when, mid-stream, I got a message from someone at work saying, hey, is it safe to deploy this thing? And then I said yes. Well, it turns out, right after the stream ended, he deployed the thing, and, it was not safe to deploy. So, it's my first production outage caused by my code. Hey, it's cool. Accomplishment. It was not safe to deploy. Like, the person who deployed it was the one who reviewed the code. And he was like, yeah, this seems pretty straightforward, pretty obvious. It's like a really small change. It broke a bunch of stuff. And it turns out, it's legacy reasons. Obviously, like, this thing looks so easy, so simple. But there's, like, some legacy reason that, it wasn't working. Like downstream consumers had to do like some there's like some edge case or something, and they specifically had a workaround for it. And there was no way that I, as someone who just joined like 3 weeks ago, would have known. Okay, I had to like search through GitHub, look for the error message, and then I saw a comment that was like, due to historical reasons, this thing, and then we had this workaround, and I was like, oh shoot. I'm literally new here, I don't know any of this stuff. But it's fine, they reverted it. Welcome, Cass. Do reviews actually work? They do work. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes there's legacy stuff. Legacy code do not touch, yes. I learned there's actually a word for that. It's called Chesterton's fence. You know, like whenever you're in like a code base, and there's like a bunch of lines with comments around them saying like, this thing is dangerous, don't touch unless you know what you're doing. They're like, you know, make sure you know what you're doing. It's called Chesterton's fence for some reason. I guess a guy named Chesterton wrote some legacy code. And he put comments around the blocks that you're not supposed to modify unless you know what you're doing. Such that he has that term named after him. Yeah, me and the enemy code. Legacy code that depends on specific edge case data conditions that are only checked on the third Tuesday. That's probably stuff like that. There's a lot of edge cases related to like time zones and stuff like that. A lot of people are just like, just count the number of seconds since like January 1st, 1970. And that works for most cases. But then you have like time zones, and then like sometimes time zones are like they change because, you know, like the whole like daylight saving stuff. Like they're gonna get rid of it or something. You can't handle that in your code, right? How are you supposed to know? Time zones are like a product of like political and socio-economic, whatever it's called. A government. A government can institute a policy at any point, and then it'll change time zones. But then you'll have code that doesn't know about it, and then like, how are you supposed to know? This thing was deployed 20 years ago. Oh, how did the developers from 20 years ago not predict that we would abolish daylight saving time? Like they keep changing the rules about leap seconds, like leap nanoseconds and stuff like that. Hello, Mojave Jukebox. Whenever I have to edit old code, I just find jokes in the comments. I had like, there's a coworker who I don't know, he wasn't very like social. He didn't talk a lot. He would just show up to the office, just be quiet. Very strange person. And he would put swears in his code. Like, so normally in your code comment, you'd just say like, yeah, there's some unknown edge case with this thing, and make sure you edit it, you know what you're doing. Put some comments. And this guy, he would just put like a comment like, this effing thing doesn't work, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. And then people just approved it. I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. You don't have to put swears in your comments. You know, sometimes people go all out. They go all out on their comments. It's too much. They're called leap seconds because they like to jump at you. They do be leaping. Literally, just like frogs. Just like frogs, for real. For real, on God. They go all out just as one. That's a really strange guy. I don't know, sometimes he would just, he always showed up really late to work. And it was weird because our stand-up was at 11 a.m. He would show up at like 11:30. He would miss the stand-up like most of the days. He was put on the, what is it? They call it the PIP, the Performance Improvement Plan or whatever. It basically means you're like at risk of being fired. And he still wouldn't show up. And he would refuse to socialize with anyone. And then on his last day, like, you know, like when we used to have an office, when it's someone's last day, sometimes, you know, you go to a restaurant, have their final goodbye meal. That sounds morbid. Their final meal. But I mean, like, their you know, just to say goodbye to them. Like the final social interaction with them. And then someone asked him, like, hey, what's that? What do you order? And he was just like, oh, and then he just didn't actually answer the question. And the guy's like, oh, all right. And then he didn't talk that whole meeting. Not meeting, the whole lunch. Like, normally, I guess, like, if it's a lunch for you specifically because you're leaving, you kind of expect them to talk a little bit about, like, well, what are you doing? What's your new job? And all that. He didn't talk at all. Anyway, I guess it's fine. I don't know. Not everyone enjoys being social. I think to some extent, you kind of have to interact with people. Imagine talking. Yeah. Prefer to sit down rather than stand up. He is not the stand-up comedian. Actually, there's some times when sometimes he made jokes. Sometimes he had to like do a presentation, and he would had some funny things to say. And everyone was like, I didn't know this guy was funny. He literally never talks. I guess that kind of happened with me too. When I was in high school, I didn't talk that much. Honestly, I didn't talk much until I started streaming. But like, especially in high school, I didn't talk much. And no one knew that I was actually hilarious. There's one guy. And he, I showed him I used to have a website. I used to have like daily comics that I would do related to my life. They had jokes in them. They were kind of funny, in my opinion. Looking back at old stuff, you can say it's funny, because I can't be that funny anymore. But then he saw it. He's like, you were always this funny, but you never talk. How is this guy so funny? Never would have predicted. Yeah, imagine Zatsudanu. I could never. I would never Zatsudan. Anyway, my new workplace has, since everything's remote, I think they have this thing where they, like, you know when you normally work in an office, you get to interact with people that are not on your team. You know, just because they happen to sit near you, or like you happen to see them in the office. With everything being remote, they don't, you know, obviously you can't meet random people. You only talk to people when you need to talk to them for like whatever task you're working on. And so like they have this channel where on Slack, I think, where they randomly try to assign you like every few weeks, like talking to someone randomly in the channel. It's like there's a bot, and I think every few weeks it'll randomly assign 2 people. It'll message the 2 of you. It'd be like, hey, you guys should, you know, set up a meeting, get to know each other. And like, I didn't know what that was. My manager didn't explain what that was to me. And so I just get this random bot messaging me saying, hey, you guys should message each other. And like, I don't know who this guy is. I just ignored it. I guess that happens every few weeks. But it happened, I got the notification again today. And I always get these notifications when I'm busy, like during lunch or something, so then I like dismiss the message. But then like every few days, if the bot sees that you haven't responded, it will message and say like, hey, have you guys had a chance to meet up yet? You guys talked about anything? And then I just ignore all of those. I'm gonna count on the other person to reach out. So I don't know, please respond. Please, I'm trying to get you to interact, please respond. Please, we're trying to encourage social interaction. Hello, Nanora. Welcome. But I don't know. They encourage setting up like a 15-minute meeting. Just talk about stuff. What if someone's watching this and they're like, wait a second, my workplace has the same thing. Does Wolfie work at the same place that I do? Wait a second. The last guy never messaged me. Is this Wolfie? Is that guy Wolfie? No. You'll never find me. And this bot urged me to interact? Yeah. How could they do that? Why would it do this to me? I don't know, I feel like it's kind of weird. It's weird, but it makes sense, but it's also weird. It can be both. Hello, Chicken Coop. Enjoyer. It's Waffling? No, it's Wolfington. Wafflington is totally different. Completely different thing. But yeah, anyway, I guess I ignored those. If the person contacts me, I will reply. Like, I'm not so bad with social interaction nowadays. I think I used to be pretty bad at it. But now, thanks to the power of streaming, I no longer have any sort of fear talking to people. So that's cool. That's pretty cool. I wonder, like, I haven't had to do like a presentation in a long time. Like, I know when I was in school and we had to do public presentations, like you would stand in front of the class and talk about stuff. I was always super afraid. Right, I had stage fright standing in front of an audience. But I guess it's different, right? Because while I'm talking to a bunch of people online now, it's not like in person, right? So maybe that's different, I don't know. I wonder if it transfers over. If I had to do a speech, like, you know, in front of a podium and like an audience, would I be nervous? I don't know, maybe. I probably would. But not to the same extent. Wolfie will never say you too when told to enjoy his movie. You too. You too will never say it. You don't have to give sprint presentations during end of sprint reviews. I mean, I can do presentations over Zoom. I've done several of them. But like doing it over Zoom, I guess is different from like in real life. I guess, yeah, Zoom is not real life. What happens in Zoom is not real. It's all virtual. It never happened. Zoom is all fictional. If you do a presentation in Zoom, you do a presentation in real life? No. Yeah, I'm not nervous for those at all. Which leads me to think maybe I would be better at doing IRL presentations. Or maybe not, because like I feel like when I do presentations on Zoom, like I'm mostly just sitting down, right? A lot of times when people do presentations on stages in front of a podium, they have to stand up for a long time. I guess I'm standing up right now. Maybe it's the same. Maybe it's fine. Do you think people have like a social, like, do you think there's like VR chat worlds that people go to practice their stage presentations? There have to be, right? There's probably random stages in VR chat. You just sit in the audience. Someone stands up and makes a speech about something. Just like, oh look, I'm here to talk about bears. Bears are real. There's no excuses. There's literally no excuses. But yeah, it's cool. Love to talk. I've never talked as much as I do now. Thanks to streaming. Streaming truly changes your life. See, oh, he understands. He didn't stream until some months ago, and now he does like 6 or 7 hour streams like every few days. Every time I see his stream, I'm like, how the heck does this guy stream so much? He didn't even stream at all. Now he's streaming constantly. Fun times. VR seems to be undeveloped, even in these past few years. Yeah, I guess it's like the metaverse. Facebook's metaverse. That is VR chat. VR chat is cool. I just get motion sickness from it, so I don't do it. And also, I don't interact with strangers, like, face-to-face in VR chat. Because the thing about streaming is that everyone's there, sort of, to watch you. Whereas in VR chat, everyone's, like, doing their own thing. If I just start talking, they're like, who the heck is this guy? Why should I care about what he has to say? But then if you're streaming, you know, they're literally there to watch you talk. Or I guess play video games if you're good at games. So there's no excuse. If they don't like it, they can just leave. You can't do the same in real life. I guess you can. Whenever you get faced with someone you don't like, you just walk away. That's kind of rude, I guess. I don't know. There's a different dynamic. Many viewers to one streamer. True. There are many viewers. Multiple. As a programmer, my ultimate goal is to automate streaming so I can stream 24 hours a day. Set up a camera and point it at nature. There's some channels that are like that. There's ones where they feed animals. Like deer. They have like a thing, they set up like multiple cameras pointing at like a deer feeding station. They got like some chickens. They do that. People watch those. I think the Monterey Bay Aquarium in California, they do that. You can watch things. You can watch the animals. Well, if he can talk and is good at video games, I don't know about that. Have you've seen my gaming? I'm only good at some video games. Like this one. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if I'm actually good at this one. I can play this one for a long time. But I don't know if I'm good at it. Yeah, animal live videos are always on. Even when there's no animals. Yeah, Monterey Bay. Oh wait, they have an otter cam. I know they have like a jellyfish cam. I didn't know about the otters. The first thought was they feed chickens to deer. Deer are vegetarian, right? They don't eat meat. They just graze on the grass. Yeah, the boss fish. Here's the proof. But you hear the phrase like, the proof is in the pudding? What's that about? What's up with that? Why is the proof in the pudding? What proof are they talking about? And what kind of pudding? You guys, can you look that up? Look that up and then tell me. And then I can say, yo, I learned today. Your proof is in my pudding. Excuse me? Unbelievable. Fig pudding. They're putting the proof in there. There was a famous bird. I think you made that up, Hamflo. I don't think that's real at all. What's something you guys learned recently? Yeah, learn a bunch of things. Today I did learn something. I was watching Northernline's video, your stream today. And then something about, you know, the Wombo Combo video. Everyone knows the Wombo Combo video. But I didn't know what they meant by the different stuff they said. They say, Happy Feet, Wombo Combo, That Ain't Falco. You guys know the significance behind that? Apparently, one of the players that was in that clip, the ZHU, he had like a combo video. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that until now. I just thought he was just saying Happy Feet for no reason. Oh yeah, Happy Feet is a combo video, and it features Falco. But then, as you know, in that clip, he's playing Fox, and he says, "Happy Feet, Wombo Combo, That Ain't Falco," because he's not playing as Falco. But he says Happy Feet. He does the combo. So I didn't know that until today. It's like, what the heck? I put that in my journal. My journal of knowledge. Hello, Milkshake. Yeah, it's a T. Because you look at that and you're just like, they're just saying things. So you're like, what the heck do you think it's Happy Feet? What did they mean he's not Falco? Well, obviously it's not Falco, it's Fox. But now I know the significance. I learned Wolfie doesn't trust me. Is that the actual why they say the proof is in the pudding? Is that true? Or did you make that up? I'm gonna look it up, actually. I have the power to do that. No? Okay, I'm gonna look up why they call it proof is in the pudding. See, if you had told the truth, then your statement would have had merit. Okay, let's learn something. Why do they say the proof is in the pudding? Let's look it up. I'm too close to the window right now. Why do they say the proof is in the pudding? Let's see. Hold on, let me move the... Whoops. Yeah, move the window farther away. Okay, What does the proof is in the pudding mean? It's an alteration of an older saying that makes the meaning of... Just get to the point. What? This is so long. Just tell me what it is. That doesn't explain anything. Why pudding? The proof of the pudding? Come on, I expected better from dictionary.com. Come on. Merriam-Webster, are you better at this? Frequent misinterpretation. What? What? The proof of the pudding is in the tasting. The proof of the pudding is in television rating. What? What the heck? This doesn't answer anything. Why pudding though? Proof? Okay, proof had multiple meanings related to presenting of evidence. Okay, but why why pudding? This doesn't make any sense. Okay, the proof is in the pudding. It's the first recorded in English. Puddings were generally gutsy. They were essentially sausages. Often blood, stuffed into the intestines and boiled or steamed. They could be good or bad, or possibly fatal, but to find out you had to put it to the proof? What? What? This is too much. Typically you expect it to be pretty straightforward. Yeah, pudding D's. True. Okay, I'm gonna scroll up and chat. It's just an expression of random words that became common. Man, we did look it up. No, I didn't look it up. Did I look it up? I don't remember this. It's in the eating originated as a reference to the fact that it was difficult to judge if the pudding was properly cooked. Okay. Okay, alright. Welcome, Jose. Haggis. I don't even know what haggis is. I've seen it mentioned. This is haggis? This looks like pizza. That's not pizza. That's not Falco. I've never seen haggis. It's like meat and is that a potato or a bread? Is that bread? What is that? Lamb and haggis Wellington. We'll follow about haggis and why it's wait, haggis is banned in the US? HowStuffWorks.com? It's banned? Hold on, I gotta read about this. Haggis. It's a savory pudding containing sheep's pluck. Okay. Heart, liver, and lungs. Is it banned? Outside Scotland, legality. Okay, oh shoot. 1971, it became illegal to import haggis from the UK due to a ban on food containing sheep lung. Okay. Sheep lung cannot be transported internationally. 1989, when all UK beef and lamb was banned from importation to the US due to a BSE crisis. Bovine spongiform encephalopathy, also known as mad cow disease. Okay, sheep lung still banned in 2010. Haggis cannot be exported to the US. It is instead made there, sometimes by Scottish companies. I see, so you can't have genuine haggis in the US because it's it has to be made in the US. Well, today I learned. All of this is old. Hello, Pink Popo. When I first heard of haggis, I thought it was something made by frat boys as a punishment. I've heard of haggis mentioned, I had no idea what it was until just now. Haggis. Belief in the wild haggis. I see. Okay, well, now I know. I'll put that in my journal. Yes, today I learned haggis. That's what haggis is. Haggis love. Glove, haggis glove. If you think about it, isn't haggis like a glove? It's like the sheep lung. And then inside the glove is the meat. One of the comments on the Happy Feet video is from 15 years ago. Yeah, Smash Bros Melee was... It was more than 15 years ago, wasn't it? When did Smash Bros Melee come out? I feel like when I was in middle school. No, even before then. I don't know. It's out for a long time. Melee is 21. Oh shoot. It's old enough to drink in the US. Wow. Time sure does fly. Just like Falco. Just like Falco. Falco, he does fly. He flies in the ship. I've actually never played Star Fox, so I don't know. I don't know what it's called. They're ships. Oh, oh, November? Okay. November, that's like 2 months. Less than 2 months from now. Poisonally, I prefer the air. Falco Lombardi. True. True statement. He does prefer the air. He's a bird. I guess not all birds prefer the air. I was judging. Not all birds can fly. Would you consider a couple to be greater than 2 months or 3 months? I would say, I mean, by the logical definition of couple is 2, so I would say 2. A couple of months. 2. Yes, 2 months. Greater than or equal to 2 months. Say several months. I used to think several meant like 7. I thought several literally meant 7. So like remember in Pokemon cards when you had Pikachu? I think the Pokédex description of Pikachu said like when several of them gather, like a thunderstorm happens or something. You know, as a kid I was like, whoa, you can get, if you can get 7 Pikachu, you can create a thunderstorm. I was like, wait, but you can only have 6 Pikachu. You can only have 6 people in your party. 6 Pokemon, I mean. And then I learned several did not mean 7. Just, that's just a word that means several. How many is several? More than 2? Let's look it up. Let's learn things today. How many, how many is several? Does 2 count as several? How many is several? Yeah, how many is several? By definition, several means 3 or more. I see. Quantity terminology. Some, few, several, and many. Several means 3 or more. Okay. Few means 2 or more. What? Okay. Some means at least 1. Okay, what about many is defined as a large number. It's kind of, it depends. Let's see, if you want to learn more, take the LSAT. That's the lawyer thing, right? Lawyers take the LSAT. I guess there are legal definitions for this. LSAT and law. Oh, this is like the legal definition of some, few, several, and many. Yes, these things are codified in the law. That makes sense. Yeah, what? Legally, few means 2 or more. I see. There was like a Twitter thread recently about how like months and days are messed up. I didn't actually think about this, but like apparently like the months in English, they're based on numbers, but then the numbers are wrong. Like November is the 11th month, but I think it's actually like September. Hold on. September is the 7th. Yeah, September. Okay, September was supposed to be the 7th month. Yeah, September comes from the Latin word septem, meaning 7, because it was the 7th month of the early Roman calendar. And I think at some point they revised the calendar so that September became the 9th month, but then they kept the word September. And so like all the months after that, September, November, or sorry, it's September, October. Like, you know, like octo means 8, but October is the 10th month. And it's like, how does that make any sense? And then what is it? November? November is the 9th month? It's the 9th month. So they added 2 months at some point. Yeah, November derives from the Latin root novem, meaning 9. And December, you know, like decimals, December is 10. It's the 10th month. And something happened. I don't know what it was. History? Yeah, October. Wait a second, October. December. December, the Roman month. From the Latin decem or 10. December was originally the 10th month of the Roman calendar. And then something happened. And then everything's wrong, so... Yeah, look, we know. What's up with that? January... from Janus. Julius Caesar. It's not adding 2 months, but starting in March. Oh, did they start the 2... They added the 2 months at the beginning then? I hope the person who did that got stabbed. Julius Caesar... Wait, why? Okay, I don't know the history. This guy doesn't know history. Oh, the Julian calendar reform. The Julian calendar proposed by Julius Caesar. You can just do that? You can just reform the calendar? You think they can do that today? If they just like the US government was just like, we're gonna add like 2 months to the calendar. Disregard the fact that like all the other countries, they also use this calendar. We're just gonna add 2 months. And you have to deal with it. Let's see. So you guys know more about this than I do. I don't even know this stuff. Click Roman calendar. Roman calendar? Okay, let's look at it. Roman calendar. Man, time is messed up. Roman calendar was used by the Roman Kingdom, of course, true. That makes sense. Roman Egypt. Roman days counted inclusively forward to the next of 3 principal days. The first, wait, holy frick, wait, the reason why it's called calendar is because the first of the month was called a calend. Hold on, what? Calend. Calend is the first day of the month in the ancient you know, I never thought about this. It's called calendar because of the calends. Latin, calendae. Calendes. I see. Okay, the English word calendar is derived from calends. Interesting. We're learning so much today. What else? What else? Calends. This article is pretty long. This article is perhaps too long. It's too long. There's too much stuff in here. Okay, months. The heck? Calmart. The First Punic War. The Olympiad. There's a lot of stuff. Can't believe Wolfie's gonna add a new month. Yeah. Wolf-tember. How did months get their names? The Roman calendar. I'm not reading all this. Look at how long this article is. January. Janus. February. To cleanse. March. Named for the Roman god of war, Mars. April. Okay, May, June. August. Yeah. Okay, well, that's cool. Put this on the blog. Put this in your notes. This will be on the quiz. Hello, Yerga King. Good. You will learn Rust. You know, despite my job being Rust, I've been writing more Go code than Rust. The stuff that I had to deal with was Go. I literally don't know Go. I don't know Go. This is like the first time I had to use it. I learned about how much I don't like Go. So that's something. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I'm just copying and editing code. And then I realized, like, I've just been dereferencing pointers that might be null, or sorry, nil, as they call it. They call it nil. They haven't learned anything from optional types. SMH. But I guess I'm contributing. I'm learning stuff. Pokemon Go to the polls. Every time this comes up, it's like, when are they gonna announce Pokemon Sleep? We keep revisiting the same topic every few months. When the heck Pokemon Sleep? When's that coming back? Or when are we hearing anything about it? I haven't slept. I haven't slept since. Actually, I have been sleeping better recently. So my manager, who was supposed to be on vacation the past 2 weeks, it was actually for 1 week, and then he scheduled like a bunch of meetings at like 9:30. And so that's like half an hour earlier than I normally start my log on for work. And so I've been going to sleep earlier, like half an hour earlier. And I feel like it makes a huge difference, right? You think about just like I normally go to bed like 1, which is like kind of late, but also not that late. Now I go to bed at like 12:30, and I feel like I get so much more rest. Back in the day, we called it delousing. What? I don't know what that is. So I don't know what you're saying, Hamflo. What is that? Go in with the oh, that's God, I wish that were me. Sleeping? You wish you were sleeping? Sleeping is good. I recommend it. If you had the opportunity to sleep, and it's not like in the middle of the day, it's like at night, at a reasonable time, you should try it. It really does make a difference. Also, you guys feel like the music is low? It feels kind of low. There we go, it's at 44 now. You should try it. I recommend it. Sleep, endorsed by Wolfie Wolfington. Sleeping at night is powerful, but sometimes even a proper night of sleep feels like 3 hours of sleep. Yeah, it's all about like REM cycles or whatever, I don't know. You have to sleep at like some sort of like good interval. I'm trying to adjust chat so that I don't have to like, I'm not looking down all the time. Depends on quality of sleep. I feel like when I sleep well, I usually like wake up several times, and then I think like, I see that it's earlier than I need to wake up. And then I'm like, oh nice, it's like 7 o'clock, I can go back to sleep. And then I go back to sleep immediately, and then I have like a bunch of dreams. And then I wake up like in another half an hour, I'm like, oh no, it's only 7:30. I can go back to sleep, and then I wake up again, it's like, it's only 8 o'clock. And you might think that seems bad, because you're constantly waking up. But it feels fine. Possibly even good. Would you press the button? You can magic your poo away, but you can never use the toilet. What? 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 What does that mean? I'm constantly waking up and it's not fine. Well, if you wake up and then you can go back to sleep immediately, then that's fine. That's probably good. Oh, is that a reference to Harry Potter? Were you the one who mentioned, like, the, J.K. Rowling, like, retconned the whole, like, toilet thing in Harry Potter? I don't know. Someone mentioned that. I didn't actually read the message. I don't know. I cannot relate. I don't know much about it. Wizards. Wizards of the Coast. Also, why did you bring this up? How is this relevant? You're just bringing up random things. Unrelated tangents in my chat. SMH. Only I can do that. Only I can bring up unrelated topics. Anyway, yes. Oh yeah, I should hydrate. It's been over an hour. I'm going to go hydrate right now. Okay, hold on. 1 sec. Alright. I have completed hydration. Like that VG Cats comic about forgetting one of 4 basic life skills. I don't remember that. I haven't been reminded of VG Cats in so long. The last thing I heard about VG Cats was like the artist like started a Patreon or something and he's drawing like furry, he's doing furry commissions. And now that I think about it, that makes perfect sense. Like back when I was like a long time ago, when VG Cats was popular, I think people just like read it. They're like, oh yeah, yeah. But then it's like, oh yeah, wait, yeah, it's like a furry thing. I didn't think about it until I saw that he was doing like furry art. It's like, yeah, that makes sense because they're like cats. The comic was funny though. That comic was funny. Wow. That Pokemon parody? What Pokemon parody? Hello, Shima Panic? Did he come back? The VG Cats guy? One of my coworkers is a furry. I hate that I know that. How did you find out? There was some drama? Oh, I did not know about the drama. What happened? What did he do? The VG Cats guy cancelled? He showed me their Steam PFP. When did people start saying PFP? It was something... Okay, alright. When did people start saying PFP? People used to say Avatar all the time. And then they say like profile picture and display picture. Avatar. They changed, like, Avatar just feels weird now. He started drawing lewds of the VG Cats characters. Got commissions for it that he never delivered on. And then he closed the Patreon. Okay, I did not know about that. I didn't keep up with this. I just knew that he started a Patreon. And everyone was like, oh, VG Cats. I remember that comic. Another comic from back in the day was like Mega Tokyo. Apparently that's still going, actually. I think, I don't know. There's one a long time ago called like 8-Bit Theater. Is that one still going? I should check. What is 8-Bit Theater? You guys remember that one? 8-Bit Theater. Is that still going? Oh, it ran until 2010. Okay. is done. Nuclear power, yeah, that's what it was called. Mega Tokyo, is that still going? Last post, is this still going? 2022, last post was from July 13th. 2022. Wow. It's still going. What are some of the oldest webcomics? Hey, Homestar Runner. They're still making content for Homestar Runner. I mean, that's not a webcomic, but it's like old thing from back in the day. Strong Bad VTuber. A Largo? I don't know what that is. I actually never read Mega Tokyo. Strong Bad. Wait a second. Someone, Wait, I remember. One of the guys, the guy who did the, you know, the Homestar Runner, like, Fuhugawa gods? Apparently, like, I know the person who sent that email to Strongbad. Or, like, he's, the guy who originated Fuhugawa gods. He is the guy, but the guy who knows the guy who sent Fuhugawa gods. If people who don't even know what I'm talking about, what the heck is he talking about? There's a whole song about it, but someone that I know knows the guy who did that. And I found out from from a Pomu Rainpuff stream. She was talking about Homestar Runner, and then one of the viewers was like, who I have met in real life. I met him in real life. He's an Aikatsu fan. He did the subtitles for the unofficial subtitles for Aikatsu. And he's like, oh yeah, I know the guy, that's my friend. He sent that email. I was like, what the heck? I met this guy. I know him. Internet legend. Annoyed that Homestar Runner didn't hop on YouTube sooner. Yeah, Flash is dead, I guess. I'm gonna stand up again. Mega Tokyo. What number email? I don't know. Just look up Fuhugawa gods. I don't know how to spell it. FHGWGHDS or something. If Flash is dead, what does Newgrounds use? They probably like HTML5. There's some compatibility layers. Some people just developed JavaScript libraries or like WebAssembly libraries that will load Flash files and actually play them properly. They're fixing bugs and stuff like that, but I think for the most part it works. You can just put it on the page. Stealth? What do you mean? That feel when. Yeah, that's how you spell it. Good times. I feel like this is the kind of stuff that that Vesper would talk about on his streams. Vesper. Whole Live. Whole Stars. He talks about old things sometimes. He talks about the old content. I'm trying to close this tab and I can't do it. Without shaking my hand there. And also another thing I tweeted. Yesterday I was playing Omega Strikers. And I was talking about like, I noticed like the triangle, this looks like butter. the triangles in the game. I was like, this reminds me of like this mini hockey thing I used to play as a kid. And I couldn't remember what it was called, and no one in chat seems to have like played it. But I looked it up afterwards. There's this mini hockey thing called Knock Hockey, N-O-K, hockey. And I don't remember the rules, but I'm pretty sure I played this a lot as a kid. And at least one other person, can relate. Not knock. N-O-K. Let's see, I watched a bit of the Vespers bike stream VOD for a bit today, and wow, he's really into bikes. That guy loves his bikes. And that's one thing I know about him, he loves his bikes. Yep, Butter Dog. I'm bored with the butter. Yeah, you've seen it. I've seen this. Wait, this looks like butter. I don't even remember how to play it. You had like this small hockey stick. You had to like, I guess you had to like put the puck somewhere here, and then you had to like get it into the enemy goal or something. I don't know. It's too long ago. They had them at the park. They had them like, just play them with random people in the park. I don't know if they still have those. I looked it up, they're like $50. Like, this does not look like it would cost $50, but I guess it is. It's made by one company too. In New York. New York. Yes. I hear people go missing in the park. I mean, that happens anywhere. You could get lost in a park pretty easily. I guess depending on the size of the park. I almost got lost in Central Park once. I was coming back from my friend's place. Oh, actually, not my friend. Just like a random... not my friend. Just when I was in high school. You had to do like a group project. You go to someone's place and like work on like a presentation or something. And then like I came back, I walked through Central Park to try to find the subway. This is before we had like smartphones. So it was like really dark. I could not get my way out. It's like, where the heck am I? I had to ask someone what time it was. It was too dark. It's literally just a big rectangle. Yeah, but there's like different paths. There's different paths in the park. It's huge. It's not like getting out of the park. It's like getting out of the park and then also finding the subway station that I need to go to. Like nowadays we're so dependent on Google Maps. Like, oh, where am I? I'm just gonna pull up Google Maps and just tell me where it is. How is your core strength? Because real New Yorkers don't touch any surface on the subway. What do you mean? You have to stand on the floor. Streets are numbered. Look, I was in high school. I didn't know where the train station was. It's a grid. Literally grid-based movement. Turn-based movement. I think one time I had some friends visiting New York, and there was like this this store that sold like anime figures and stuff like that. I didn't have a smartphone at the time, and so like I printed out a map. Remember when you would do that? You would go on Google Maps, you would print out a map on like actual physical paper, you bring it around with you. I printed out a map, and then like we were walking there. I think we walked too far, and then like this group of people, like two people, tried to help us. They were like, "Oh, you guys tourists? Do you know where? we can probably help you." And then I was like, "No, I got it. He doesn't know that I live in New York." And then he seemed so offended that I rejected his help. It's like, "Oh, okay, I guess to have fun being lost then." Is that rude? Excuse me. It was literally like, usually they probably expected us to be doing touristy things, right? I think if they had been like, "Where do you want to go?" and I tell them, "You know this place that sells anime figures," they would have been like, "What the heck are you doing? What the heck are you talking about?" I don't think they would have known where it was either. Anyway, I found it. And then we went there, and then we didn't buy anything. What's the street after 51st Street? depends. Be 52nd. It could be 50th. Sometimes sometimes Broadway intersects with some streets. Some people don't know that. Broadway goes diagonal. Also, like 6th Avenue, sometimes, okay. So like, I think 6th Avenue is also known as Avenue of the Americas. And that's confusing sometimes. So like, if an address says, it's on Avenue of the Americas, and you're like, where the heck is that? You're like, oh, it goes from like 4th Avenue, 5th Avenue, Avenue of the Americas, and then 7th Avenue? You're like, what the heck? You don't know. Yeah, the plains up there. Phones have stopped me for asking strangers for the time. True. People don't do that anymore. You say that, but recently a guy asked me for the time. I have my phone out anyway. Yeah, why does he not know the time? Would that be suspicious? Maybe his phone ran out of battery. Maybe he was gaslit into thinking the time was different. Yeah, passively aggressive. What if he just wanted to start a conversation? He'd be like, what time is it? Oh, it's 4:30. He'd be like, oh, I know that time. I know 4:30. And then he asks you about things related to 4:30. Like, when was the last time you guys remembered 4:30? It's like, it was literally 2 hours ago. I remember, you guys remember that? 4:30. Actually, it's like, you know how people say, don't talk about, like, the weather? Like, weather is, like, one of the boring topics that people talk about when they have nothing to talk about. People should start talking about time. They should be like, instead of how's the weather, they should be what time is it? And then they tell you, and then you're like, yeah, I can relate. He just chatted at me in a slightly annoyed voice. Can you tell me if it's 4:30? I see. It's a strange question to ask. Remember when people had to synchronize clocks? Or watches? Is that a thing? I hear about that sometimes. You would ask someone, you're like, oh, my clock goes fast. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes the clocks run out of batteries. You guys have analog clocks in your house? You guys still do that? Do you have clocks on batteries? I have clocks on the wall. Every time it's like daylight saving, I have to like adjust it to be like an hour later and earlier, and it's always like annoying to do. Yo, was that paper bag patchy? In the 1890s, you don't have analog clocks, you guys. I have one analog clock. Do you guys have pocket watches? When was the last time you seen a pocket watch? I got one right here. I got 3 of them right here. This one was hidden. I don't have any clocks. All I have is my phone and computer. That's fine. It's like how people don't have landline phones anymore. You guys have landline phones? You guys still have that? Not me. It feels like you have a landline phone. But why? Why do that? Just because you've always had one and you never felt like getting rid of it. I've talked about this before, but like when we had a landline phone and I was like, we're paying too much for this. And then you could transfer it over to like a phone, like a mobile phone number. Just to preserve, because everyone knows to call your phone at this number. You don't want to be like, oh, please update your number to this one on your phone. Yeah, porting the number. Yes. It was this weird thing where, like, you could use Google Phone or Google Voice or whatever, and you can port your number to Google Voice, but then they don't let you port landline numbers. And so what I had to do is, like, I had to go to T-Mobile, I had to get like a prepaid phone plan, port over my landline number, and then now that landline number was a mobile number, then I could transfer the number to Google Voice, and then I could cancel my T-Mobile thing. Yeah, Google doesn't want to deal with landlines. True. But it's like it was like so easy to change my landline number to a mobile number. It uses DECT, and the entire backend of my ISP is IP. What? DECT? I don't even know what that is. DSL? DECT phone? What? December? December the phone? A mobile? A mobile? I'm still not sure what that face is. I see people use that sometimes. Is that like a smirking face? Smirking. Is that a squid? Is that a Splatoon squid? What is that? Oh, it's an EU thing. This guy's in the EU. Now when people say EU, I'm just like not sure if they include the UK in that. Because like, you know, England is not part of the EU anymore, but sometimes people when they say, oh yeah, EU time zones, they still include Europe, or sorry, they include the UK. Just a happy little guy. Yeah. Say, who here is in the UK? I know, okay, so Zoli is in the UK, or sorry, not the UK, in Europe. I think Lofkey's in Europe, Denchi definitely in Europe. Got any other Europe? Europe's in here. Happy and stressed little guy, just a little guy. Birthday. He's just a little guy. Here, you know what? Today we can use cheese. You can see what fish we catch with the cheese. It's like mostly the same fish. Just as a treat. Just as a treat. The fish can have cheese as a treat. Yeah, the triangular cheese blocks. Picture of Jerry the mouse when he eats the cheese and he becomes a triangle. The mouse when he eats the cheese. Cool game. Cool game. Amazing video game. Anyway, what else is happening? What's going on in the world? Any cool VTuber things? Any cool non-VTuber things happening? What is the coolest thing that has happened recently? It could be like, yo, I slept for 8 hours. It's the poggest thing I've ever seen. Or it could be like, yo, remember that time when, I don't know. When Splatoon? Remember that time when You know, Wolfie caught that big fish. And he beat this game, and he's still playing this game. I remember. That would be VTuber things, you're right. That's right, I am a VTuber. Real landlines were not packet switched. ISPs switched to TCP/IP. I see. I see. I heard that, like, with phone lines, it's actually possible to get them to be perfectly, like, noise-free. I think I watched a video about that. They said it's possible, it's been possible for a long time to not have noise on the phone. But I think, like, they artificially inject noise into the phone line because people were disturbed that the voice quality was too high. It's like, where's the white noise in the background? I was so used to that. Hello, Fist of the North Star, welcome. Yeah. When things are too quiet, you need some of that white noise in the background. Let's see, Aniplex Online Fest happened last Friday. What is that? Is that a convention? Did they announce new anime? I'm so behind on anime. I like have no intention of watching anime ever again. I used to be so into anime. What happened? VTubers? No, even before VTubers. I'm just like, I don't know what's happening in anime anymore. They announced anime and some musical stuff. What if they made a new Aikatsu? They did, and then I don't keep up with it. Aikatsu Planet started sometime in the past, like 3 years or 4 years. I've not kept up with it at all. So I have no idea. I heard a similar thing about vacuums. It's possible to make them not ear-shatteringly loud, but people like to hear the suck. The suck. I guess it lets you know that it's working at least, right? Because like if you pick up a phone and it's just like totally silent, like, is this working? I guess that's why they have a dial tone too, right? When you pick up the phone, it makes that like sound. Like, do they still do that? I don't know. I haven't. I don't call people on the phone. When was the last time you guys had a phone call? Like an actual phone call. Not like, more like an automated one. Not with like customer support or anything like that. Actually, I hate when when companies don't let you like email them. Nowadays, like, if you ever want to contact like a company about something, they always make you do like their online chat, right? It used to be that you could send a message and email them and stuff like that. Receive a message in a support system asynchronously. But now it all assumes that you want to chat with them in real time. And I don't. I would rather send them a message with like a lot of detail, have them get to it whenever they get to it, and then I'll reply back. But now it's always like, oh, you need an immediate answer. Yeah, honestly, like the chat vibe, I don't like having to chat with customer support. Cause it's like, it assumes that you're around, right? Like sometimes, like, you want to send a message, but you want to do something else. You don't want to like wait for them to reply. You have to be like on the line. If they reply, they probably don't care, right? It's probably fine. They're dealing with like tens of people. But to me, I'm just like, I want to send a message and then forget about it, and then I'll get back to it like in a few hours. Drip feed them the details. Also, hello, Robomoo. Actually, I read a thing where, like, a lot of chat, like, customer support chats, they see what you're typing before you send it. Like, as you're typing, it's like Google Docs. As soon as you type something in the chat box, you think it doesn't get sent until you press enter. But they actually see you typing stuff. Yeah, it is true. I read about it. Apparently they do that so that they can respond faster. And so if they see you typing stuff, you can... Yeah, they see what you're typing. No, they don't just see that you're typing. They see the text that you type. So don't paste, like... Don't paste stuff in there that you don't want them to see. Yeah, true. I don't like typing indicators. I don't like when it tells you someone's typing. Like I mentioned this, if I have to type something that's more than one sentence long, I'll open up Vim, I'll type it in Vim, or whatever text editor, and then I'll copy and paste it in when I'm done. Some people tell me I'm crazy for that, but it's fine. Yeah, sometimes they see what you put in the chat. So they can more accurately respond to it. But yeah, if you didn't know, now you know. Now you know. I usually fire up Vim after reading a second paragraph. If I need more than like 1 to 2 sentences. If I imagine that I need to type stuff, and the person can see if it's a thing with typing indicators. Actually, no, not on Slack, but like, you know, on Discord or whatever. Because you ever watch someone type? Sometimes, like when my cousin used to, we would hang out at my grandma's place, and they had like my uncle had a shared computer there. Every time I saw my cousin like typing something on like MSN or AIM or something, he'd always type out the message. He'd think for like 5 seconds, then he'd backspace the whole thing and then type another message. He'd think about it, he'd like backspace part of the words, he'd type it again. And I get frustrated. I get frustrated watching him type. Just send the message, it's fine. Like when you see someone, it's like it says such and such is typing, and they've been typing for like 2 minutes, you're like, oh man, this guy's typing a whole essay. He's gonna go off. And then when they finally send the message, it's like 2 sentences or like 1 sentence. Yeah, they're typing a whole paragraph, but then they're just like, they type something, they backspace. Like the annoying thing is like when they're typing, and then like you stop typing so that they get a chance to say what you're saying, what they want to say. And then when you stop typing, they stop typing. Like, what are you trying to do? Just post what you wanted to say. So I would prefer no typing indicators. Just to let people say things. Hello, Slime Molder. Literally just like me. I read a thing some time ago. Some guy made like a Slack or Discord bot that would start typing as soon as someone else starts typing. It probably pissed off so many people. It's like, well, when you send something in the chat, when you're typing stuff, I think they like send a message to Discord to say that you started typing, and then when it senses that no one else is typing, it'll stop typing. Man, it'd be like the most annoying thing ever. It really makes you think about society. Like, I don't need to know that someone's typing. Same thing about like when it tells you that someone has read your message. I hate that stuff. Don't tell me that someone has read my message. Don't tell the other person that I have read their message. Because there's no assumption that anyone will respond to anything immediately. Like people are like, oh no, left unread. So just because they read your message doesn't mean they have to reply to it like immediately. What's up with that? They need to abolish They call them red receipts. Read receipts. Red receipts. You guys say red or read? You're just gonna type it out and it won't know. You're gonna type read/red. Yeah, which one? What do you say? Read. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. I predicted it before you started. Before you sent that. Say read receipts. That doesn't make sense. It's red. You've read it. Sometimes it says sent/received. Or seen. Seen makes more sense. Glanced. Glanced at. Sometimes they have it so that if you see the notification in your phone, it doesn't mark it as like you having read it. And so sometimes I just look at my notifications. I don't click into the app so that they don't know that I've seen it. And yeah, I know Twitter allows you to turn those off. So you don't get to see when someone has read your thing, but they don't get to see when you read their thing. And that's how it should be. I must read it as a recipe. What? Read recipe? But what if I read recipe as receipt? What if I read this as read receipt? Ever think about that? What if I read things differently? Recite. Recipe. Reciteer. Oh no. Oh no. Me when I read the words wrong. That feel when word wrong. Oh, that plane's gonna do this thing where it goes. This is show off. Look at this show off. It's dangerous. Don't do that. That's like the 5th time I've seen that. Just has to go through that thing. It was cool the first time, but now you're just showing off. I'm like the only one on this lake. Who are you trying to prove yourself to? Me? I've already acknowledged. It's already been acknowledged. Anyway, I casted some salmon bait into the lake. Into the lake. And we're gonna see what kind of fish we get with it. We caught a bunch of fish. This is like a really small one. Like this fish is pretty small. Like the variance in the fish size. This same fish can be like, it can be this big. It can be this big, it can be this small. Oh yeah, they know. Yeah, they know they're on the top VR fishing game streamer. The top streamer of this game. Imagine if I wasn't the top streamer of this game right now. Let's see, let's check the channel. I had better be the top streamer in this game. Yep. I'm the top streamer of this game. You guys notice like recently, so many people have been playing Trombone Champ? What's up with that game? Is it a meme? There's a lot of people playing Trombone Champ. Like I've seen like at least 5 people streaming it. Is it just because it's like funny? It's just like, aha, look at this game, it looks funny. Competent memes. But what about it? It's like, is it funny? It's just like someone just, it's funny. Why is it funny? What's funny about it? I don't understand it. Kids these days, they be playing Trombone Champ. It's like, aha, public domain songs. I know those songs. I know those songs. They're public domain. They have classics such as whatever. It subverts your expectations. That's what they do all the time now, though. Like, every game has to subvert your expectations. What happened to the games that just don't subvert your expectations? I guess there's tons of them. That's why you never hear about it. You know what? Okay, never mind. That's logical. It has a gimmick where you play all the notes in a spectrum. Actually, I never thought about the control scheme. Like, I know it has a thing where you have to, like, move it up and down. Do you use your mouse to do that, or do you, like... I guess you hold your mouse, like, vertically... Not hold it vertically, but, like, you move it up and down. What if they had that in VR? They could do that in VR. They could have, like, an actual trombone. The next hot thing. Trombone Champ VR. They will make millions of cents. Those that don't subvert are established franchise. I've never heard someone say franchise. Oh yeah, like the sequel to the third Atelier Ryza game. Atelier Ryza 3. Forza Horizon 7. It's a funny joke. I just made a funny joke. Yeah, tens of dollars. Tens of thousands. Yeah, literally tens of dollars. Dozen of dollars. What are some Steam games I should look at? I'm like out of games to play. I just keep playing the same games over and over again. Hey, look at the store. What's so funny? Oh, Domekeeper. I saw Northernlion was playing Domekeeper. Transport Fever 2. Trombone Champ is right there. Oh yeah, Slime Rancher 2. I've never played Slime Rancher 1. You think that game would be fun? I've seen a few people play it. I don't really know what they're doing. They're just like collecting slimes. They're putting them into cubes. And then they collect more slimes. I feel like that could be a good Zatsudan game. But like Slime Ranchers 2 is out, or yeah, Slime Ranchers 2, Slime Rancher 2 is out. Well, it's in early access. And I would have expected them to put Slime Rancher 1 on sale because, you know, when you release a new game, you would expect people to be less likely to buy the old game. And then I could be like, yo, Slime Ranchers 2 is out. I keep saying Slime Ranchers 2. Slime Rancher 2 is out. It's time to buy Slime Rancher 1. I guess maybe when they finally release it out of early access, they might do that. So hello Nanodan. Did I miss a huge crumb? The fish? This is the statue that proves that I caught the big fish. We're in the post game. There's a Gundam themed Overwatch clone. Oh yeah, Gundam. Yeah, I've seen people play it. I thought it felt more similar to Valorant. But also I don't know. I've never played Valorant. But it seemed like Valorant to me. I mean, you could say Valorant is like Overwatch. Yeah, you get this big fish trophy because it's the last fish. It doesn't feel much like Valorant. Okay, I guess I don't know. I've seen one match. As someone who doesn't know shooting games, I was like, this is literally Valorant. But with Gundams. But maybe not. I've also never played CSGO. So I have no idea. The objectives include planting... That's literally Valorant. That's literally Valorant / CSGO. What do you mean? Let's see, what else is there? Madden 23? They're still making Madden games. Didn't John Madden pass away? They still own the rights to his name. It's like how Tom Clancy, like he's known for video games now, but he was like a novelist, and they own the rights to make games under his name. Mostly negative reviews. Madden NFL 23. Mostly negative. We got Plate Up. Backpack Hero. Neon White. What? I've seen people have been playing Neon White. I don't know what that is. Apex. Wait, Halo Infinite is free to play? Halo? Wait, Battle Royale? Is that Scrabble? But like as a battle... That is... Wait, this is Scrabble as a Battle Royale? And it's free to play? I see, interesting. Interesting. I got a bit into FPS over the last year and now compare games based on gunplay and movement. Yeah, I don't know. I'm bad at FPS games. I'm gonna try Neon White. Reminds you of Lovely Planet. I have never heard of that. Lovely Planet? What is that? I'm gonna assume it's another FPS. One that I have never heard of. Okay, let's see. Cookie Clicker, they got Cookie Clicker. Oh yeah, Multiverses, WB, Multiverses. I heard Rhythm Doctor was good. Monkey Island. What are some new games? Hoko Life. Farming Simulation. Grounded. Crypt. Very stylized looking game. Psychological horror. Outcore. Outcore. Desktop adventure. I'm gonna stand up. Can you dance with your model? Yes. Hypothetically, I can. Hello, Sleepy Big Louie. It's like an FPS platformer speedrun. It did seem like short levels. I don't think it was VR. I think it's just regular FPS. I'd probably get motion sickness if it was VR. You know, like games where you move around a lot, not a good fit for me. That's why I play this game. It's weird to think that this is the only game that I play in VR anymore. I bought a whole VR headset thinking I would have like... I would stream like a lot of VR games. But I only play this one. Like 90 something hours in this game. single-digit hours in like any other VR game I played. I saw VR stuff for it. Apparently, it's a thing. I had no idea. I feel usually when they try to retrofit VR into existing games, it doesn't always go well. Like sometimes it's not like well optimized, and it may give you motion sickness. Oh, it probably will. Definitely will give you motion sickness. Look at him, he's laughing at the fish. He horizontally rotated the emote and it's laughing at the fish. A drink from the lake? Why you keep telling me to do things? What's going on? Look, this guy is doing it again. He literally just did this like 10 minutes ago. Literally. I even commented on it. Unbelievable. As long as no one stealth peed in the lake. I mean, fish do that all the time. Bodies of water are literally just, you know, fish. Where fish pee all the time. It refuses to elaborate. SMH. SMH. Do fish actually pee? I don't know. I have no idea. If they could you tell? The same way. Hello, Rune. What did I walk in on? I don't know much about fish anatomy. You could probably look it up. Probably a whole Wikipedia article about it. Let's go into night mode. We've spent enough time in the daytime. Fish have kidneys which produce urine containing ammonium, phosphorus, urea, and nitrous waste. Plant growth. Yeah, I heard that when you, like, you know, if you own a fish tank and you're like replacing the water, you're not supposed to replace all the water because like some of the existing bacteria in the tank are good. They're like beneficial bacteria for the fish. And so sometimes if you like replace all the water in a fish tank, or like most of it, the fish could die. Because they need some of that bacteria. It's good for them. It's beneficial bacteria. Also, I think I should hydrate again. It's been about another hour. It's hydration time. Oops. How can he bonk? How can he bonk? Can modify an emote. So I bought 3 games late at night last summer sale in hopes of playing. I think I ended up playing all the summer sale games that I bought. Which ones did I buy this summer? I played, let's see, I bought RimWorld was on sale for like 10% off. I played that a lot. Thomas Was Alone, I played that. Cave Blazers, I bought that one and played it for one stream. Bugsnax, I played Bugsnax. It was on sale. Noida was on sale. I played that once. Stanley Parable. Unpacking. Risk of Rain, I played all these. What the Golf? Yeah, I made good progress on the games that I bought. As in, I streamed them at least once. Piku Niku, I did not play that. It was free on the Epic Games Store one time, I think. Do I have that on Steam? I think I might have it on the Epic Games Store. You know what? That might be a good game to play on stream. That might be good. Still holding out another Risk of Rain stream? I guess I could do it. I guess I could try it. What the? Your voice is so calm, if you get mad on stream, I wouldn't be able to tell. I don't get mad on stream. I will never get mad on stream. Can't wait for Wolfie to beat Eclipse 8. I don't even know what that is. Eclipse 8. What did it eat? Haha. Ha he he ha. What was eaten? Got them. I should put Pikuniku on the list. I could go back to Lawn Mowing Simulator. I could Euro Truck Simulator. I streamed that on YouTube when I used to stream on YouTube. Passepartout. Wait, I have Little Nightmares? Oh. Fall Guys. Look at all these games from like 15 years ago that I had never played. You guys remember Magica? Do they still make those? Magica? I don't remember most of these games. Portal? I have Portal. The original Portal. I have Grand Theft Auto 1, 2, 3, 4. San Andreas. Vice City. Left 4 Dead. Super Auto Pets. Just Cause 2 multiplayer mod. I have never played these. I have so many games that I will never play. -4. What? I worked so hard on that joke. +8. +8 because Eclipse 8. Yeah, I'm gonna sell these fish. I think this will be worth $34. No, 37. Okay, 34, okay. 34 was right. How did I do it? I just guessed. Plus -8. Can't do this to me. Or it could be a smiley face. It could be like one of those emoji. It's a guy with like a wig, a toupee. This is his eyes. He's got the smile, and there's a plus for some reason. Like if you turn your head this way, plus -8. Anyway, it seems like the fish don't like the salmon. I'll cross on a necklace. Yo, Picross? Picross reference on the necklace? Oh, I got the salmon on here and everything. Okay, oh, you hear the wolf? There's a wolf somewhere, it's howling. Howl's Moving Castle. This is simply... it's good. Simply a good game. One of the best games of all time. Got fireflies. Got wolves in the background. Sometimes there's a bear. There's a cave that I refuse to go into because we get claustrophobia. And by you, I mean I get claustrophobia in there. And motion sickness. The outdoors? The outdoors is good. Oh, Very true. I also feel like normally like the waterfall shouldn't be that visible at night, right? It looks very white. You can see it in here. Oops. It's like very visible. It's like snow. Clouds. With clouds up there. Trees. How long will I be streaming in general? You mean like in my lifetime? I don't know. I don't know. This is my last stream. Actually, I have an announcement. This is my last stream ever. I'm gonna retire. Graduation stream right now. This is the graduation stream. I'm kidding. Yeah, I don't know. I will continue streaming until I feel like not doing it. Yo, you got into Hollow Stars. I will never apply to Corpo. Not about that life. Imagine what you guys should do. Hamflow, you should apply. They always have open auditions. You could put in your qualifications. Did not know anything about VTubers. It'll be a bonus. But yo, someone applies that doesn't know about VTubers, let's go. And they find out you're lying. So you watch indie VTubers. What? This guy knows indie VTubers. Also, I just noticed my power cable got disconnected. Have I not been charging my headset this whole time? Hold on, let me do that. I do not have an. What about Sano? Well, I guess she's not. Okay, sorry. Don't forget I said that. Okay, I'm charging now. They have been doing collabs though. I wonder how that affects things. Like, I guess like the Hollow Stars right now, when they applied, there's like no, like they had no expectations of collabing with the Hololive. But now that they have been, I guess will the new applicants be like, yo, I'm gonna apply because I know that they can collab with some of the members of Hololive. Will that change the dynamic? Is that weird? I shall apply to Hololive. Or Hollow Stars, you mean? I guess you could apply to both. I don't know. No, I'm not about that life anymore. This guy, Wolfie abandons Corpo VTubers. He hates the Corpo. No. 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 How could he abandon us like this? I haven't drawn fan art in so long. When was the last time I drew, like, something? It's been so long. I think the last animation I made was, like, Pomu's, wait, what did I make? I think the last animation I made was, like, some Pomu thing. I don't even remember what it was. It's like 3 months ago. Fast chats are their own beasts. True. Oh yeah, this past weekend, speaking of Trombone Champ, I was watching Germa stream. I think he finished up Trombone Champ and he was playing Breath of the Wild. He had to set his chat to emote only mode. And one thing I noticed, some guy who had affiliate, he uploaded his own custom emotes so that he had 3 emotes. One of them said hi, second emote said Jur, the third emote said Ma, and they put them together. You can say hi Germa using only emotes. And I'm surprised I'd never seen someone do that until now. This guy is bypassing the emote only chat by uploading his own custom emotes that have words in them. You could probably even do it more easily with like, if you have affiliate and you have auto-approved emotes, you could just like upload your own custom emotes like immediately. Just say things. I wonder how many people sub to that guy. I don't know. He was the only guy that I've seen using it. Hello, Art Sounds. Have I caught and released? I have. Yeah, text emotes are not allowed. But if you have auto emote approval, who's stopping you? No one will stop you. Maybe if you add it and then you delete it right after the stream is over. They will never find it. Who knows? You could game the system. It's a bit weird that unlike unlike YouTube, there's no way to just stop like chat completely, right? You can set it to subscriber only mode, emote only mode, but then you can't just stop all messages, right? There's no way to just like have no one say anything. And so in a really fast chat, sometimes if a moderator wants to say something, they set it to emote only. You can set it to follow for 1 billion. Okay, I didn't know that. I guess that's one way to do it. Wait, can you do that? Can I do that? Channel modes. I don't think so. Channel modes. Emote only, subscribers only, followers only, slow mode. I don't see a thing that says follow for some amount of time. I know you can do that on YouTube. Yeah, you can do slow mode. But you can't stop all of them. At least not that I know of. Anyway, yeah. I think like a bunch of popular Twitch streamers are considering moving to YouTube. Now they're gonna cut their salary by 20% or whatever. Literally 1984. Literally. How could the streamer not allow me to say my message? Chat is being suppressed right now. Unfairly. Unbelievable that they would do this to us. Anyway, I don't know. Oppressed. Yes, suppressed is similar to oppressed. They're very similar. You ever think about this? Sometimes words sound like other words. And then they also kind of have similar meanings. Not really exactly the same, but somewhat similar. What's up with that? Why words? Why many words when few words? Good. When few words do trick. I'm still surprised YouTube hasn't done anything about the bots in the comment section. Yeah, like every time I watch like a ProZD video or something, I check the comments. Like I probably shouldn't check the comments, but I do check the comments. And then I scroll down, I expand like the comments, the replies to the top comment, and it's all like spam. It's always like, you won't believe this, and it's always like a URL to like another YouTube video. And they always like change their avatar to be someone famous and change their name. It's funny, like actually I think that the day that Queen Elizabeth passed away, I was like watching a ProZD video. I checked the comment. Yeah, finally it's here. Someone changed their icon. One of the bots changed their icon to be Queen Elizabeth, and they changed their name was Queen Elizabeth. The message, finally it's here, and then like a link to a YouTube video. Oh my god, that's that's topical. Finally it's here. She's gone. She's dead. I'm surprised like YouTube doesn't just like be like, okay, you just block URLs in comments, right? That should be the obvious thing to do, and that's not built in. Why is that? I can't believe ProZT would do that. How could they do this to us? Based? Based? Why do they allow links in comments? It makes no sense. Wait, look at how big this fish was. This is like the same species of fish as the other one. Not the one I just caught, like the other ones I was showing before. Yeah, you can't stop it with flower oil. I told you, I'm a streamer. I know because I'm a streamer. On YouTube you can stop it though. Like I think yesterday I mentioned, yeah, there's a charity tab, there is. You can set next to donate. Change that to be like a charity or something. It was added some point in the past few months. Also, I think I have bits like... Remember there was the few days when I had coins instead of bits? I submitted the form that you can opt out of the cheering experiment. Now I think bits are back. If people have bits that they've already paid for, they don't have to pay bitcoins. Oh shoot! I can't believe they would replace bits with coins and then bitcoins. Cheering and bits. No, cheering is like a new thing they added. Well, bits are cheered, but then they have like a cheering experiment where instead of bits you pay money directly. It's like a super chat, right? The way bits work nowadays, you pay money to Twitch, you purchase bits, and then you can cheer the bits. And then they added a thing where instead of this bits icon there's a coin. In some channels you'll see this. You click the coin and you pay money immediately, and then I don't know, it like unlocks emotes for some viewers or something. I don't understand it. But you can opt out of it. I think my issue with it was like none of the integrations that I have, like with Stream Elements, like it doesn't show up in the chat because they haven't updated to deal with it. There's emotes for bits as well. Yeah, the bits thing is like if you cheer like 10k bits or something, you get access to some other emote. But the cheering experiment is something else. Like you unlock an emote for random people in chat for like just for the duration of the stream, and it doesn't make sense. So thank you for the cheers. If they both start the hype train, they probably do. I don't know. I don't understand why they're doing it. I'm sure a bunch of the people that are working at Twitch are like, they're scrambling because they introduced cutting the 70-30 split for top streamers. And then people are like, oh, we're gonna leave for YouTube, and then they're all like, no, what are we gonna do? We gotta do something. We gotta do something. We can't afford to pay Amazon, the company that we work for. We can't, our AWS fees are too high. We can't afford to pay people 70-30 in this economy. And people are like, we're just gonna go to YouTube. But then they're gonna go to YouTube and be like, no, all of our emotes run. Oh no, YouTube. Bezos. Jeffrey Bezos. Like I can't find. It's like really hard to find streams on YouTube. Like, there's no VTuber tag. I guess there is a VTuber tag. It's like hard to discover, and it's like mixed live streams and VODs. I have no idea. Hello, palette missing. Facebook gaming. I heard apparently TikTok has live streams or something, and apparently it's good for discoverability. But then you have to use TikTok. The non-intrusive ads I get on my phone sometimes are kind of okay. Oh, on Twitch? I guess I have Twitch Turbo now, so I don't get ads anymore. Which is nice. They need a way to separate streams and VODs, make them on the left similar. Yeah, my issue with YouTube's like stream page or whatever. They like sort the like they group streams and videos in the same thing. And they order them based on when the waiting room was created, instead of when the stream is occurring. So like, if someone created the waiting room some time ago, it'll show up like pretty far down in the list. And that sucks. TikTok has live streams, but I don't know about streaming on there. I don't know how TikTok works like at all. Like how do you stream like to TikTok? They're not like using their phone, because how are you gonna stream games? But like you can just use OBS and stream to TikTok. Does it have to be portrait mode? Is there always ads in between YouTube videos? Yes. Unless you have like some sort of ad blocking thing. Well, what happened first? Twitch with a UI, or sorry, YouTube with a UI that targets stream viewers, or Twitch creating a UI that makes watching VODs possible? I don't think Twitch cares at all about VODs, to be honest. Everyone just uploads their VODs to YouTube anyway. Like even like the maximum length of time you can have your VOD on Twitch is like 60 days or 90 or something. I guess they don't want to pay for storage. Which makes sense, I guess. There's like a lot of storage. Just offload that to YouTube and have YouTube pay for the VOD hosting. You're only in high school? What? Is in high school? I don't know. I don't get TikTok. The only thing I know about TikTok is a lot of the YouTube shorts that I watch, they're just re-uploaded TikToks. And I always say, I refuse to watch TikTok. Instead, I'll just watch YouTube shorts that are 90% re-uploaded TikToks. And that's somehow better. Somehow that's better. How? I don't know. Anyway, I think I will. It's time for me to end the stream. It's that time again, 7:30. It's better because you already have a Google account. True. Like this website is tracking. This website is tracking everything I do. Then like YouTube does that too. Every website's tracking you. Even this one. Even this one that you're watching. Okay, well, let's see what today is. What holiday is today? Check out today. Let's go on check. Exclamation mark today. They are always chill. Fishing streams will always be chill. National Drink Beer Day. Fish Tank Floor Show Night. International Day. Okay, we got a bunch of days. National Poke Day. National Right to Know Day. Ask a Stupid Question Day. National Chris Day. National Neighbor Day. National Self-Awareness Day. Got a bunch of days. That's a dog? Oh, World Rabies Day. I guess that dog has rabies. Okay, we got a bunch of birthdays. Yo, World Rabies Day, right? World Rabies Day. International Day for Universal Access to Information. Is that there? How come I didn't see that? Oh, it's right there. World Rabies Day, right? Science should be on some sort of accessible hub. True. Okay, let's see who to raid. Let's see. You can see all the channels that I don't raid. Look at all these people. All these people be streaming. Oh, Maikua. She raided us once. She's streaming art. Hamflow is streaming Majora's Mask. Let's go. Okay, let's stream. Let's raid Maikua. She raided, I think, last week or this week or something. Is she sleeping? Is she AFK? I can't tell. It looks like her model is asleep. Okay, she might be AFK. I don't know. World Rabies. Is she AFK? No, she's bad. No, she's there. Okay. Okay. Yeah, World Rabies Day. There we go. This channel is intended for mature audiences. Thanks for watching. So tomorrow I will stream something. I'm not sure what. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for watching. Yeah, so World Rabies Day, please. We don't have Denchi to put the emotes and paste it multiple times. What am I gonna stream tomorrow? I could stream this dog game, Dog Gone Hungry. I saw Petra play it. I don't know if it can last for like 2.5 hours. That looks cute though. Look at this dog. Look at that dog. Denchi called out for not being here. He's probably dealing with the VTube Studio stuff. From Zatsu. I will always Zatsu. Zatsu Dan. Also, Wolf's Smile is not it's a follower emote, so if you put that there, you can't actually use that in other people's chats. Just consider that. Okay, goodbye.